it's out. It's the No Bullshit Science podcast.
With extra bullshit.
I'm Kiri.
And I'm Alice.
Do you know what it is? Because you raise your voice at the end, that we have this awkward thing where I don't know what to say.
What way?
Because you're like...
Acts like a question.
Shh.
Oh god, that was ice. you're like blowing cold air across the table. Like, how dare you speak?
Because I'll be like, I'm Kiri, and you're like, I'm Alice.
And then I always talk.
But then I feel like I need to carry on and say something, which is why we've had some weird, awkward intros now. You have to be like, and I'm Alice.
I'm Alice. Okay, fine. I'll try.
Okay, fine.
That's all I can say is I'll try.
Okay. How are
I'm
you?
not promising anything.
Fine, that's fine.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We're both tired.
We are, yeah.
Alice and I have had...
Life got real.
Life got really real over the past 2 weeks.
We had that moment where when, for the first however many months of the PhD, when people were like, you get a lot of, oh, it's hell. It's awful. And we were like, no, it's fine. Like, we're getting on great. Like, it's great. It's, we're chill. And then this week, we were not chill.
No, this week was pretty intense.
Yeah, there's a lot of sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
Which ties in nicely with today's topic.
It does.
But that's all I'll say.
So, we wanted to talk about something today, which I'm a little bit like...
Curry's a bit nervous about
I'm a bit embarrassed. I'm like, yeah, it's a bit weird to talk about.
But it is and it isn't. Like, you're pretending like you're just talking to me about it. You openly talk to me about it all the time.
Well, no, but this is the thing, right?
Even in the office, other people can probably hear.
Yeah, I was thinking about this and I was like, it is one of those things which you talk about so openly with your friends, but then like I'm here trying to talk about it to maybe 30 listeners, and I'm like, okay, so basically,
it's the P word. Periods.
But although, I don't know if we should talk about this when we've introduced our lay guest, because she has a lot of questions.
Oh, really? Oh.
Should we just introduce everyone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh, yeah. So, welcome. Today we have our two lovely guests. This week is, we're going back to having a science guest, which is very exciting. So you're going to get to hear about another area of science one of the many areas of science that we do not know about.
Yeah. And actually, this is a science guest that initially, when I was putting the podcast together, I'd actually asked her to be a part of the team. But she's a very powerful and busy woman.
and she's a boss now.
A proper boss. So she's now coming on as our guest.
Oh.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
This is Haya. I realised we didn't say your name.
Yeah, I was,
I'm Haya. Thanks for having me, guys.
So Haya,
Yeah.
how are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Wonderful.
Feel really nice to come and join the party finally.
I know,
see what I've been missing.
Yeah. Not what you've been missing.
Because I've been listening.
Yeah.
But I mean...
Wait, aren't you behind though?
Yes.
Don't be shaming her. She's a busy woman.
I've just offended.
She's a boss now.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, so Haya just recently submitted her PhD and had her viva and passed with flying colours.
Woo! We talked about it on the podcast.
We did, yeah. We've given you a few shout outs.
That was the day that we learnt about Reese's battery licking.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Indeed.
And also, just for those of you who may not listen to the episodes consecutively, Reese is Haya's boyfriend. So we got Reese on first because Haya was in the depths of hand-in and she's the thing, and it was a stressful
Hard
time.
times.
Yes, yes, hard times.
To say the least.
She was also starting her dazzling career, and now she's deep in that dazzling career, but is a bit more free of time.
Chill. Exactly.
Yes. She came out the other set. The light at the end of the tunnel.
There was a light, guys.
Tunnel.
You will make it.
Yeah.
You will.
Yeah.
Life's good after the PhD.
Yeah.
I don't know, the light seems so far away right now.
It'll be fine.
It's not even a speck, it's just darkness.
To be honest though, like it felt that way until you come out of the viva, and then you like feel sunlight on your face. But you kind of like you just like keep going, and it's dark, and then all of a sudden it's like spotlight.
I bet my vibe is going to be on the afternoon on a winter's day, and it's going to be darkness when I come out.
I will personally make sure that happens.
I'll be like, hey, I promised me sunlight on my face. I'm just cold.
Okay, wait.
With the torch. Don't you worry.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So our lay guest actually had a question, which I think is quite important to address, considering this is
I think I might know what the question is.
Yeah, so Riley just asked, what is the viva?
Wait, should we just introduce Riley?
Yeah, this is Riley.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thanks.
So Riley's my housemate of how many months now?
4.
4 months? Really? Is it only 4 months?
I know, it feels like much longer.
I'm mildly offended that you say that with a slight roll of the eye. But it's fine.
There are 2 other housemates too, so
yeah,
it might not be you.
Okay, that's good to know.
But it's Alex.
So there's a 1 in. I was about to say there's a 1 in 3 chance that it's me, but now we've just realised that it is actually me. Is it because I leave my door open and the dehumidifier on?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'm working on it.
You're like those people that put the aircon on and then open the window.
Exactly.
Oh, I don't do that.
Or put the heating on and open the window.
Exactly.
No, like I never turn on the dehumidifier and open the back door.
Well, Alice, if it can humidify down up the whole house, then why couldn't it dehumidify?
No, I mean like
outside?
I have an outdoors door in my bedroom.
Oh, okay.
So I never do that.
Okay.
She just sucks all the electricity out of the house.
But
and
I
drives
dehumidify
up,
the whole downstairs of the house.
and drives up the bills we have to pay.
Moving on. Riley is Canadian.
Yeah.
In case you hadn't noticed. I just wanted to change the topic.
Okay, well, how about we go to the topic that brought us here in the first place?
Yeah.
Riley had a question.
Yeah.
What's a Viva?
Yes. So, in the world of PhDs, or actually, Haya, do you want to tell us this, considering you're the only one who's actually had one?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So when you submit your PhD, you submit a book that looks kind of like these, that this mic is balanced on. And then what happens is you go into this, it's a defense, basically.
Okay.
You need to defend all the work that you did. And usually in King's, you go into this room that kind of looks like this, and you sit on one side, and your 2 examiners sit on the other side, and they both have your book with, I swear, more tabs in it than pages. And you go through page by page of like why you did everything this way, and
How long does that take?
Mine took 3 hours, 15 minutes.
Oh,
I think that's quite
thank
normal,
you.
though.
But it
Yeah.
flew by.
Yeah.
I can think of nothing worse.
I've heard of
But
them
the thing
lasting
is,
5.
it's 3 years work
How long was
in
it?
3 hours. Like, how could you summarize 3 years of work you've been doing every single day?
I mean,
in
I
just
could
3
summarize
hours?
3 years of my life in one. Like,
It is long. But then it's one of those things where my supervisor, she said before that actually it's paying respect to the student if you sit with them for hours, for a long time.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Because they ask you about stuff and you have so much to say and you feel like, wow, you actually cared. You actually read it. You're like one of the 3 people who's ever read it.
And whoever
I
will
never
read
will.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no one else will read it. And what I thought was really, I remember someone giving you a comment and saying, a few people will be like, oh, enjoy it, like whatever. And you're kind of like, how am I going to enjoy this? But then someone said to you that it's the only time that you'll actually that you'll get to talk about it to people that are actually interested.
It's so true.
Like,
I mean,
it
you
is.
guys are interested now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all our listeners. But
Yeah.
No, but really.
Everyone's fascinated. You're all going to go home and read Haya's
Yeah.
PhD.
Yeah. No,
60
but
guys more.
before it, you're just absolutely horrified. And everyone who's come out the other end, they're like, you're going to be fine. You have nothing to worry about. But you have to go through it yourself. And then you're like, why was I stressing? It was
Yeah.
actually fun. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun is a stretch.
A little, yeah.
But I think it's the type of thing that once you get into the swing of it and you're kind of like holding your own,
Yeah.
I feel like that might be when it gets enjoyable. I don't know. That's what I'm hoping.
I don't know.
We'll
We'll see.
smash it, guys.
Do you feel like an adult now?
A little bit, now that I like have a job and everything.
Finally.
Finally. Yeah.
After all those years.
Yeah, exactly. Starting my career late. That's hey, we're here now.
One of my friends at home likes to say, so before I started the PhD, I was like, I didn't really do much. Well, I went traveling and I was doing jobs that you do during university full time. So it was basically a promo girl for like 6 months.
Oh my god, wait, hang on. Were you one of those girls wearing like skimpy clothes outside?
Oh
clubs,
God,
handing out
no. Can you
Oh,
imagine me?
okay.
No, I was the boring type of I was like handing out chocolate on like main streets and things.
Oh, okay.
And then I was also going around to universities and convincing students to switch to Vodafone. And I was getting commission for that, so it was kind of salesy. I actually really enjoyed that. It was really fun. Anyway, yeah. So then I was like, went traveling, and all my friends were like, oh God, when is she going to settle down? And then I came back from traveling early and was like, guys, I'm going to go start a PhD. I'm going to be a student for another 3 years. So now one of my friends, every time I go home, likes to introduce me as this is Alice. She's 25 and she's never worked a day. And I'm like, fuck you. I had jobs I had part-time jobs the entire way through my undergrad. Like, as a PhD student, I'm soon becoming to realise that you work like a fucking dog.
I actually, 100%. I think a PhD is like a job.
Because
It is a job.
It
It's
is.
a job for free.
Exactly. Because they can hire research assistants that do what you do but get so much more money.
Yeah.
So it's voluntary.
Double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe more than double in certain circumstances. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway. And
you have to write a book while you're at it.
Yeah.
There was some other thing that I was going to come on to there, and I can't remember what it was. Now we're just moaning. We should rein it in a bit.
Riley, what do you do?
I am in PR, actually. So I work for a big payments company in their global e-commerce department, which is a lot more exciting than what it sounds. It is very interesting. I get to deal with China in the morning, UK in the middle of the day, and the US in the afternoon, which really kind of annoys me.
Actually, that's so true. You always come home and you're like, so these people in the US email me at 5:30 and we're like, good morning.
Yeah.
Can you have this done by the end of the day? And I was like, I'm going home.
Yeah. No, honestly, the amount of times I look at my phone, getting emails at 9:00 at night, and I'm like, fuck you, this wait till tomorrow, and they take forever to answer me. So why would I answer them swiftly? No.
Because of the time difference.
Well, that's yes. But, but I can answer in the morning my time, and they're still asleep in their beds. Some of them are in Colorado. It's like an 8-hour time difference.
That's the problem when you're already in tomorrow.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
That was kind of deep.
We've had a few deep participants.
Yeah, we have.
What's wrong with me? We've had a few deep guests.
They are participants.
Are you guys doing a research study on us? This is being reported anywhere. Okay.
Damn it, it's unblinded.
GDPR.
Fun times.
Anyway, should we talk about what we were going to talk about? Which Riley has questions about.
God, yeah.
Yes.
So, I got...
that's right, this was even headed.
Yeah, this is why we introduced them early.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I got the Diva Cup.
Yes. How is it?
Woo! I really, really like it.
How much did it cost you? That's what
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
interesting. That's one we haven't asked.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, the Diva Cup is a menstrual cup. This is where we are now talking about periods.
Periods.
Woo! No period
Menstruation,
shaming here.
vagina, female.
Hey.
Woo! Blood, bits, womb. Woo! Yeah, the Red River.
Children.
Gushing vaginas.
Haya's really
Why the
uncomfortable.
bits?
Do you know what this reminds me of? Do you know what this... no, you've seen it. In Love Island, and Wes is like the Do Bits Society.
The Do Bits Society.
I love it. It's great. DBS.
So it's a menstrual cup. So instead of having a tampon or a pad, this is a silicone sort of cup, like an egg holder that you sort of put up your vag.
But it's rubber. So
Yeah,
you squeeze
it's silicone. So you put
Oh,
it
yeah.
up, and then it collects all your redness,
Blood.
blood,
The
and
bits.
then
And tissue.
all the bits,
And the bits. Ugh.
and then you just dump it down the toilet, and that's it.
But hang on.
And then you put it back in.
Okay. Do you wash it?
Yeah.
So
Okay, can I just say what makes me so nervous about it?
Go on.
Is like, you go into the bathroom,
yeah,
right? You do it. You do that. You have to step out of the bathroom, in at work, and do you use the sink at work?
You don't have to wash it every time.
no. So I don't wash it every single time. So when I'm in public and it's not a private stall, and actually in general, I feel weird washing my own period blood down the sink of a public toilet.
Sorry. Oh, wow.
I'm really open to it. I am really open to it. But
I'm open to it because of our toilet at home. That's why.
we're cutting this out. We're not telling people that we have a dodgy toilet.
We have such a dodgy toilet. We have a note on top of our toilet that says, please don't flush anything down this toilet because it backed up and stunk the whole house up.
Okay, so the reason I got it is because I'm trying to be more environmental and all this. So I've cut out.
Yeah, she still buys
she got
coffee
it.
cup.
And she got
No, okay, I tried
she
to remember.
did just get a new food container though.
I did. I got a new glass container, so I don't have
She's
to get
committed.
paper takeaway boxes from the work canteen. And I've cut out a lot of plastic bottles. So I'm using shampoo bars now and a lot of soap rather than shower gels.
Oh, can we talk
and
about that
shampoos.
as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, and all this, I'm making an effort. I do carry a tote bag around in my bag, which I sometimes forget. And all my reusable coffee cups, I always forget them a lot. But I'm doing little...
It's really,
Yeah.
it's really funny because like they're the two things that I'm really good at doing because I try and do this also. So the two things that I'm always have my tote bag and I always have my keep cup. And then Curry's like giving out to me for using one of the little wooden sticks, but yet she's standing there with her plastic cup that's going to end up in the ocean strangling a poor dolphin.
Anyway, so then I was like, what's a big...
But she has a piece of silicone in her vagina, so it's fine.
Shut up. Exactly, it's all fine. It's all balanced out. So I was like, what's the big thing here? The next thing is tampons, right?
Yeah.
And so then I got the Diva Cup Because I've been thinking about it for a while, and I was like, I spoke to my friend who uses one, and I was like, fuck it, let's just buy it. So in answer to your question, it cost £22. So I was like, if I don't like this is £22.
And tampons are expensive.
Well, that's the thing as well. It saves me money in the long run. Yeah. But I was like, if I don't like this, I've just spent £22 on something that I don't like and I can't return.
Ew. I'm glad you can't return it.
I'm very glad there's a no return policy.
Yeah, me too. Stop complaining about that. Imagine if you got one someone returned.
Oh, stop! Why would you even bring that up?
Because she was like, I can't return it.
Oof.
I'm helping you see the bright side of that.
But yeah, I love it. I really enjoy it.
But my serious question is, how does it, like, does it leak?
No.
Is the main question.
I was saying this to Alice yesterday, and this was while I was on day 3. So one of for all the men, day 2 and 3 are the heaviest days of the period.
Well, differs from person to person.
For me, days 2 and 3 are like, I'm gonna bleed to death sort of situation.
Preach, sister. I'm dying.
But I've never felt so clean and dry on a period in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
How many times do you have to change it on those days?
So you can keep it in, normally you can keep it in for 12 hours.
Wow.
On those days, I did have to change them once or twice, like sort of empty it out once or twice during the day.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing is, because this is now the first time you actually get to see what's coming out of your body.
Right.
Because whereas if it's soaked up in a tampon or a pad, it looks like a lot more, and it's this crazy mess. But it's actually really not that much.
Really?
Yeah. It's really not a lot.
Sometimes it feels like a massacre down there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Because,
Carrie was like, I thought I lost pints. But it's actually not.
It's really nothing.
But I remember learning about it, and actually you only lose 5 tablespoons of blood in your entire period.
No, you definitely lose more than that.
No, only actual blood, it's only 5 tablespoons.
Right,
the rest of it is like
bits.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know how if you have a tampon, you can kind of like feel it?
Yeah.
You feel it when you like need to change it. Like you just know. Is it the same with the?
No.
So,
I can't.
So you just wing it?
You just remember to empty it out. Okay. But like honestly, you really don't. If I'd left it in too long on my heavy days, then for sure I might have leaked. But it's honestly fine. And I thought I was gonna really be aware of it being there.
Yeah.
But you're not.
Can I ask a question? You don't have to leave this on. Okay. Do you have to like really like reach up
that was
to
be
get it?
Question. Like
okay.
how
yeah, like I mean, I feel like tampons go so far because you've got the applicators.
You've got the string. No, so it's
that noise. I hope you have noises for that.
And then when it comes out, it's like.
Yeah, like
is it a spaceship? Like
it's a tiny little spaceship. On a mission.
So it looks like an egg holder.
Yeah.
When it's got like this little stem on the bottom. So the way they tell, so it's just so you know where it is and you can reach for it properly.
Like the stem is the string of the tampon.
Yeah, kind of. Except the stem is only like half a centimetre.
Oh, but you cut the string. Oh my god, what if it got stuck up there?
No, okay, Alice. So the whole thing is with a tampon you do put it up a lot further.
Right.
With the cup, it kind of sits at the bottom. So the little stem should be right where the opening is. But so then this is the only discomfort I've had is that little stem there.
That's a big discomfort.
What does it poke you in the lip? Like what?
A little bit. So it started to get a bit sore. But
what?
No, listen.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
I looked it up and looked on the instructions, and they say if you have any discomfort, then you can trim the stem off. And I did that, and I've been absolutely.
How do you get it out?
Because it's not up there; it's at the base.
But if you put it up there and
so,
you gotta pull it out, no. But what if you pinch it to pull it out? And
No. So there's very explicit instructions.
So if you do like the whole pelvic floor thing, can you feel it?
Like Kegels?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Really?
Yeah. But it's silicone. It's soft.
Does it still a thing?
Does it close like?
Yeah.
A lot when you gotta.
Yeah. So the way you put it in is you fold it in half, then fold it again, and then.
But then how are you sure that it's gonna open?
Because you then have to sort of.
You twist it.
You put it in and then you rotate it, and then it opens it up and creates the seal. So
that is
like
what
flour.
It's a
what
vacuum.
If you're drunk?
It's a vacuum in
I wouldn't be able to twist my little diva cup when I'm drunk.
Thing is, the putting it in and taking it out does take getting used to because there is a way to do it.
Right.
But also, I'm really not squeamish with bodily stuff. So that helps a lot.
Yeah, when our friends' babies throw up, you're very much like...
I'm like all over there cleaning up. Like, it really doesn't affect me. So, I could get someone else's baby's shit on my hands and I wouldn't really care.
That's different.
What, to my own period blood?
I don't know, period.
A stranger's baby's shit is a lot worse than my own period blood.
Nah, babies are cute. You can get over their shitty poos. Like, it just...
But anyway, if anyone is thinking about it, I would highly recommend it. Because I really enjoy it. I've honestly never felt so clean on a period before.
That's honestly
cool. And you know that sort of periody irony smell that you get with tampons and pads? Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Really?
Interesting.
I would really, really recommend it.
I'm very intrigued.
Do it.
I'm scared.
So was I. It took me ages. I've been thinking about it for months.
So you bought it and had it for ages, or you were like, no doing it?
Yeah, I was like, no, because I can't afford to just buy it and then have it sit there.
Is this your first period on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we should talk to you again in a couple, and then we can see how you feel.
Well, I think if I like it on my first, then I'm more
it's probably
like,
the most novel.
But cleaning and like
okay. So if I'm at home,
You put it in the dishwasher.
no, you don't.
it's silicone. You don't put it in the dishwasher.
I've heard you can put them in the dishwasher.
I'm sure you can, but I'm not putting it in the dishwasher.
I wouldn't put it in the dishwasher.
So you
What if they
just
shrink?
you dump the contents down the toilet,
Ugh.
give it a little wipe with tissue if I'm in
Yeah.
public, and then
Yeah.
I'll just put it back in.
Okay.
If I'm at home, I'll dump it, give it a wipe, and then rinse it under the tap under warm water. And then apparently when you finish your period, you just boil it in a pan for 15 minutes to disinfect everything, and then stick it in this organic cotton bag that they give you. And then that's how you
I hadn't even
So
thought
I'm
about
assuming
it
you
in
bought-
between periods.
Yeah.
What you do with it?
Yeah.
You bought a special pan to boil your
I haven't, but I'm wondering if I should.
I think you should. Or maybe like
Just
turn
bleach
one
the
of your
thing
really
after.
old pans into your period pan.
But thing is, I'm just it's
Can we
barely.
not call it a period pan, please?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I haven't quite.
But
thought
like
the plan
imagine
bit
like
through
eating
yet.
like I don't know, like boiling a
No.
potato and being
Oh,
like,
we
the
could
last
both
thing
get
I've
one
boiled
and
in here.
share a period.
Ew, no, Riley. No, Riley, we are no longer living together. I'm moving out.
Evolutionarily, that's why we sync up. Yep, exactly.
Oh.
That's why what?
Deep.
Anyway, so I was like because Alan and I jokingly discussed it before the last podcast, like, oh, you should talk about it when you've used it. But then the whole
I'm
genuinely
being serious.
like every day afterwards, I was like, oh, am I going to talk about this on the podcast? Like, oh, I don't know.
And then you never said that to me until today, and you were like, am I going to talk about this on the podcast? And I was like, yeah, you are.
And then I was like, then I remembered I was listening to this article about period shame and how it's this whole big problem now because like people generally feel shame about periods. And I was like, okay, fine, we shouldn't feel shame about periods because 50% of the population have periods. Some people, depending on what contraception you're on. And
how old you are.
And how old you are. Actually, do you know what?
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
it's
less
like
than 50.
a lot less than 50.
It's maybe like, I'd say maybe 30.
Maybe.
35.
But anyway, so yeah. I would, if anyone's thinking about getting a menstrual cup, I've had a really enjoyable experience. Unlike all the things you read on the internet where everyone's had a horrible experience, but that's because people only talk about bad experices.
That's true.
That is true. That's why it was
Yeah.
like bad news.
Yeah, because it's like with feedback and things. I think isn't it a thing that you're much more likely to get bad feedback, but if it's good, people are just much more likely not to say anything.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, it's good. I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
No news is good news.
I would recommend. That's
Good
my
to know.
experience.
We will revisit this in precisely a month's time.
Not quite precise. My cycles aren't very regular.
Okay, in approximately a month's time. So,
Should we actually talk
we
about what this
business
podcast?
science?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So Haya is our lovely science guest and Riley is our lovely lay guest. So first of all, Riley, do you have any experience with science in the past? Did you study it in any way in university? Please say no, because we're on a roll with our actual non-science guests.
No, I didn't study it in university. No.
Truthful. What did you study?
Economics.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you like science at school?
I did. I wanted to be a marine biologist for
Oh.
a very long time, but then I went and did turtle conservation on a beach and realized it wasn't for me.
Why?
Because I was in a small village in Mexico, and we were kind of trapped on the beach in these like tents, and the sand was black, so you couldn't walk on the sand because it got so hot, and it just did me in.
Just the environment. Was
The environment just
not
didn't
you.
know
Yeah.
me.
So you moved to a big city.
Yeah, but I still would, if I could, I would do marine conservation or something like that.
That'd be
so
cool.
not what you people do, but you know,
You people.
you scientists, you.
Yeah.
I would just get scared to get stuck in a lab. That's not what I would want to do. I'd rather be outside. Even though turtles did me in, I would rather be outside.
Yeah, that's the thing about science. Like, there's a lot of different things you can do.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the time people do just have an image of it being in the lab.
Speaking of, if anyone that listens is a scientist that does an interesting science, like, I don't know, marine biology or wildlife stuff,
Yeah.
you should so come on.
An ecologist. We'd love an ecologist. Although I used to think ecology was the most boring thing ever when I was in school.
Really reeling them in here. They can't wait to come on the show now.
I take it all back. I love ecology.
But yeah. Anyway, where's your main source of science now?
Alice.
Oh yeah, living
we
with
live
a
together.
scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's through osmosis. She just talks, and I listen, and it's fine.
And then ignores it.
Yes.
Like when I told her to take probiotics and she didn't listen to me, she laughed.
Because you are trying to preach at me, and I didn't want that.
No one likes a preacher, Alice.
I resent the preach.
Okay.
I was just trying to help. That's all I'll say. You came to me with a problem.
It was a big problem.
It was a big problem. It was a
yeah.
big bowel problem.
Actually.
But you know what? It's a thing, right? So like when people talk to me about, I don't know, things that they could do with their life, like, I don't know, sciencey things. And I'm like, oh, you should do this because this been shown and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, when the fuck did I get so boring?
Yeah, I know, yeah. We had this conversation during the week when you were talking about what news you were going to tell your boyfriend. This was 2 weeks ago. And you were like, oh, I was thinking about what I'm going to tell Dan because I'm seeing him tonight. And I was like, oh, I'm going to tell him about this and I'm going to tell him about this. And then you had to think about what you were going to tell him and you're like, I am so boring. Because it was all about how you developed a new calendar for the research unit.
It was really exciting. It's really exciting for us.
Yeah, like it's like we're all like, hallelujah, there's something that works. But like when you're talking to other people about it, it's like no.
When I was telling him about it, he was like, okay. But yeah, Haya's science is a lot less boring than us. What you do as a scientist is a lot less boring than us.
Yeah.
I think it's because well, no, I don't mean that your science is boring. I just mean I think it's very relatable because I studied nutrition and everyone eats, right? And specifically about nutrition, I studied sleep. So it's literally the two things that everything alive does is eat and sleep. So everyone feels like they can somehow apply it or it just makes sense to them. It's not something so obscure.
You should have had our other housemate on.
Oh, Maeve?
Our other housemate. Honest to God. I've
She
never
sleeps.
seen someone sleep so much in my whole entire... She actually ruined a relationship because she slept too much. Like, it was unreal.
Yeah, she started seeing this guy and she was late for every single date because she would sleep in and their dates would be at 2
Even
p.m.
on his birthday. And he was texting her being like, oh, hi, hope you're awake. Oh my God, I can't believe you've done this. Are you not awake yet? Oh my God, Maeve. I guess you're not coming.
Oh shit!
It's so bad. Girl can sleep like the dead. I
Oh
don't
god,
get
she's
it.
so funny as well. She was in one Saturday evening, or we both were, and we were like just like chatting or whatever and watching TV, and then it was like after midnight. She was like, okay, and she got kind of frazzled, and she was like, okay, I need to go to bed because I normally get 12 hours sleep on a Saturday night, and I don't want my lie-in to last too long. 12 hours.
Wait, but how long does she sleep on weekdays?
She gets up later than... She's the last person to leave the house. She gets up at 8. She gets up at 10 to 8. She leaves the house at
I'd say she sleeps 8 to 9.
Yeah. She has
Not
way
as
more
much,
sleep
but like
than I do.
if she's not going into work, like she could sleep like without waking up until 2 p.m. in the day.
What the
It's
fuck?
happened frequently.
She sleeps through her alarms, everything.
Wow.
But I ask her if she's dead. We don't see her face. I'm like, have you died down there? Like, what's happening?
Wow.
The only times I've ever slept till the afternoon is because I slept at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like I was at like a festival. the day
Yeah.
before or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm really jealous, actually.
I feel like everyone's looking at me for an explanation. I don't have one. I do not. But I mean, there's some evidence that says our body clock, or the part of our brain that tells our body what time it is, it can really be determined by our genetics. So there could be something related to that. But my research was focused more on short sleepers. So people who don't sleep enough and not really long sleepers.
You got two prime participants over here.
Whoop, whoop.
Great.
I'm a
Wow.
chronic short sleeper. Chronic
You're-
being my whole life. But I think I'm wired differently.
But do you feel like well rested?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I could function really well on 5 hours of sleep.
really?
Yeah.
I'd be a
That's my
mess.
minimum. If I get any less than 5, I'm like dead. And then 5 is a push. I'm like just about alive.
So I can function really well on 5 hours of sleep, but if that accumulates, if I've been getting 5 hours of sleep in a row for like a month, then I'll start to really lag by the
You
end
need a
of the
whole
month.
month to feel it.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, I got 4.5 hours sleep on Sunday night, and I'm still suffering.
No. See, okay, so here's one for you that I said to Alice I was going to talk to you about. So on Sunday night, I slept 2 hours and 55 minutes. And then, because I had to finish some work, and I ended up not sleeping till 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I had to get up really early for a participant. Anywho, I slept 2 hours and 55 minutes, and I felt great all day. I crashed at around 2, and then I had like a coffee, and then I felt fine again. And then I was going well, and then I had people round, and it was great, and I didn't sleep till like 11, and it was fantastic. So then last night, I got 7 hours of sleep, and I felt awful all day.
That's really weird.
So this is my theory. I think because I've been so...
She was too rested.
Yeah, this is what I think. Because I've been sleep deprived for the
Chronically.
last month. Yeah, like for the last month, I've been quite heavily sleep deprived. The 2 hours and 55 minutes was kind of just like a nap. And so that's why I got up again and I was like, woo, ready to go. And then the 7 hours, I feel like it pushed my body into starting to catch up and recover. Mm-hmm. And then I forced it up halfway in between, like, while it was trying to recover. So then my body was like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm starting to catch up now. You need to catch up more. Like, you need to finish catching up. But I had to get up.
But how are you feeling now?
Curry's now applying for funding to investigate this in a randomised situation.
Now, I'm still pretty tired. I felt pretty awful all day today, actually.
Clearly your body needs rest, basically. I mean, you were asking me, how is it that you know you're getting enough sleep? I think it was you who asked me. Like, how do you know if I'm... How do you know how much sleep I really need? And I think it's if you always need an alarm clock to wake up all the time, then you probably know your body's not waking up naturally. You need this really invasive thing to get you out of bed in the morning. Most likely, you're living outside of your body clock or your circadian rhythm.
What if you have a really loud housemate?
That's just...
How do you fix...
Wait, that's not me.
No, it's not you. It's not you. Sometimes, but no, it's not you.
I think we all have the capacity to be loud, actually.
Yeah, so Alice has been ragging on Riley all evening. So
I'm ragging on Riley.
Yes. Being like,
Yes.
you're much louder than me. You're way louder than me. But right
Okay,
now,
fair. I have been doing that.
You've been a lot louder.
Earplugs?
Well, you know, if we recorded
Yeah,
us watching Love Island, then Riley would be louder.
But that's understandable.
Yeah.
But still louder. Back on track.
Yeah. So Haya, what do you do? Because you're not the stereotypical scientist anymore.
No, I'm not.
No.
So should I say like why I went into science and everything?
Yeah. Go on, tell us your whole story.
Okay, so I did an undergrad in pre-med and nutrition. So it was like a mix of different sciences, and I focused on nutrition my last 2 years. And then I did my dissertation, and I really loved research, and I'm like, oh my god, I love all my professors. I want to be just like them. I love studying so much.
I feel like that's what got me trapped into a PhD as well. Just kidding. I really like my PhD.
But really, no. But then I thought, you know, I think I really would love to be in academia. Like, I just want to study and learn and find out new things all the time. So I moved to the UK, did my master's, loved it. The research project was the best part. And then I started my PhD. I loved the project. I loved everything about it. I really liked the topic. I loved that it was human clinical trials. But then I felt like I'm not so sure I want to apply science in academia, because it's really exciting to find out new things, but I want it to be on the end where I'm using science to like solve actual problems that are applicable. So kind of on the other end. So I realized this like halfway through my PhD. And then I was like, what am I going to do? Oh my God, I don't know if I want to be in academia. And then I started getting interested in startups. And now I work for a startup. The startup I work for we're working on personalized nutrition. And we're doing a really huge study on 1,000 people, so 1,000 twins, where we give them different foods. And we try and figure out how all of them respond to them very differently.
Because just how you look different on the outside, you look different on the inside.
Shut up.
Are these identical twins or like fraternal twins?
Explaining it.
So you found 1,000 pairs of identical twins.
Yeah, they exist. Look
So
at
there's
Twins UK.
Yeah, there's a big cohort in the UK called Twins UK. It's been going on for a while.
It's
And
like it's literally this database
Yeah.
of all these twins that have signed up
Yeah.
to be studied, because it's like
twins.
Yeah, and their genetics are really similar. They're quite an interesting population to study.
Yeah.
So they're all really, they love being part of this group, don't they?
They love it. They've been doing
And
it for
like
a year.
really
They come every
compliant
year.
and
Yeah,
So they have twin friends.
Yeah. They come.
It's
with
like
their
they're all part of
twins.
something, so it kind of makes.
Yeah.
That's the thing about participants in general. I think a lot of the time you get people that sometimes it's because you're paying them, but sometimes it's because they like being made a fuss of, or like you
Yeah,
get like
true.
attention and like you kind of like get to chat. You find things out about yourself, like that kind of thing. So I think that's.
But it's
probably
so
a big
nice.
thing
Like
about
everyone in
twins.
Twins UK
Feel a bit special.
Yeah, they kind of feel like, well, we're twins and we should do our part for science to try and understand like genetics and the environment. So they all join and feel like they're part of something big, and it's really, really cool. It started like 20 years ago or something.
There's been a lot of studies that have been done on that cohort.
Wow.
So now I'm doing that with my startup. Not my startup. I joined the startup.
You were there from the beginning, though.
I was,
Yeah.
yeah. So I joined them in November. I joined when we were 4 people, and now
Employee
we're
number
about,
5.
I'm
Aren't you?
second employee.
Oh,
But the others were founders, yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
now we're a total of about 15.
Nice.
So we're growing.
What
Yeah.
do you do in the
I'm the
startup?
nutritionist. So what I do, so now my job is more operational. So what I do is I make sure that all the participants, like the 1,000, are complying exactly with the protocol, because they have to go home and do all these really difficult tasks. So my team trains them, and then we make sure that they're doing everything correct at home. We support them.
Difficult tasks like.
So they have to prick their own fingers and get their own blood samples.
Oh.
They have to eat some pretty not very normal meals, so that we're able to look at their responses. And they have to wear some monitors and make sure like to treat them right. And mainly and originally when I joined on the study, my role was to try and figure out, okay, what if we want to understand how people metabolize food differently, what are the foods we should be feeding them? So I was involved more in like the design of the trial. And after that, when that was concrete, I moved to like the operational side of things. And it's really fun. I enjoy it.
Good.
super interesting.
Yeah.
I love hearing about it.
What kind of foods do they have to eat?
So they have to eat muffins.
What is it with people in science and feeding their candidates muffins?
It's just a really good way to deliver exactly what you need to deliver. Because it's all packaged in this one little muffin.
It's like a vehicle that you know everyone's have the exact same reaction to. You can very easily manipulate the nutrients in it. Whereas if I told everyone, okay, everyone, you're going to have a bowl of pasta, right? They might cook it very differently. They might put it in the fridge, take it out and microwave it. And anything small like that would make such a huge impact on the way your body responds to a food. Whereas a muffin is just a very standard, easy way of manipulating it how you nutritionally want. That's my job right now. But my PhD, I studied how short sleepers could have a higher risk of weight gain diseases like heart disease and diabetes. And that all this could be because short sleepers have a worse diet.
I'm fucked.
What did you find out?
So,
Wait, hang on.
Wait,
Okay.
yeah, are we in
this episode is actually the first one where someone who wrote the paper is going to be talking about it. So we could ask her anything we want and we'll actually get real answers rather than the shit that we make up.
rather than, I think it was this,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll get real answers this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool.
So
Side note, if you're listening from the UK, and actually abroad as well, because you did the US piece, you might have seen this paper all over the news.
got quite a lot of media coverage.
Haya's basically famous now.
Haya's like the superstar of the department currently.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Okay,
It was a big deal though. It got like the Guardian and like
Yeah.
what
What was that huge American radio
Yeah, what
station
was
that you
the-
got on?
NPR?
NPR. Any other ones?
Well, I no, that was about it for the radio. But
No,
haven't
new-
heard
like,
anything yet.
Published or like
Oh, it was
paper.
like I think it was Times, New Scientist.
That's crazy.
That's
Huge.
It was quite. I don't know. Everyone was really excied about it. Which is
It was
really
exciting.
You
Yeah,
should
you
be. You
should
should
be.
be.
Yeah, it's
super
good.
exciting.
On
Like-
NPR, I know.
Well, if I have your approval,
Yeah, exactly.
that's great. Okay, so this paper came out in January this year, 2018.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
No,
the year.
because it was accepted in 2017.
Yeah.
It actually came out in 2018. So it's called Sleep Extension is a feasible lifestyle intervention in free living adults who are short sleepers. a potential strategy for decreasing intake of free sugars, a randomized controlled trial.
So this intervention won't work in slaves then?
What?
Free living. Dear God, Kira.
Are you cutting that out?
This is her inappropriate sense of humor that she loves.
As soon as she said
loves
free
it.
living, it was in my head, and I had to wait till
You
you
were like-
finished this really long title to say it.
God.
It was published in it's called the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, which I'm
a
really
big one.
Which
happy
is like
about
the E
because-
News of
Nutrition.
nutrition
Don't
journals.
call it the E News.
Sorry, no, yeah, that's a really bad
It's like
comparison.
the BBC or
the BBC.
Yeah.
Or no, the BBC's a bit boring.
Or Sky. Let's keep the Sky thing going so we can get sponsorship. It's the Sky News from
Why
your
did we start
circadian rhythm.
Why do you
Or the
think every
Vodafone.
single thing we're
Yeah.
going to mention
Like-
is suddenly going to sponsor?
Anyway, it's like
She's like, we're moving on.
so it's like pretty good. Like if you
Okay, no, it's like the best. It's the highest regarded nutrition journal. It is. It's the highest impact factor.
I suppose.
It is. It's not. I
So
suppose
nutrition.
it is.
Okay,
So modest.
so
Thank God we're here.
So I'll probably give you some background, like why we chose to do a sleep extension study.
Launch
So-
in with any questions about anything.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll give you like a little
in case
bit
you were
of.
wondering.
You stop me at any point, obviously. I'll give you like a little bit of background on the current scientific literature in my topic and why I chose to do this. I
Okay.
chose more like I was told this is your PhD. Here's what you have to do, but this is the story that I tell.
Yeah.
In my thesis. So basically, we know that there are some studies. They're observational, so no one's like coming in and changing anything. It's just observational. They're looking at relationships that say people who are short sleepers have a higher risk of gaining weight and developing chronic diseases. Yeah.
What does a short sleeper class
That's a
have?
fantastic question because short sleeper
Gold
can
stuff.
vary
Hey.
very, very much depending on age groups. So your requirement for sleep will vary across your whole lifespan. So children, like really, really young babies, they'll probably need about almost even 12, 18 hours of sleep. When you grow up to being a full adult, between the ages of 18 to 64, you'll need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That's the current recommendation they're called the National Sleep Foundation. And then your need for sleep declines again when you hit 65. It's 7 to 8 hours.
Sorry, just an aside. Curry's not going to need any sleep when she gets to 65.
No.
She's going to be like awake
Powering
all
But
the
do you know what
time.
else I was thinking of when you were a full adult at 18 to 18? I was like, but I don't feel like a full.
I'm still a child.
So it's people who are not achieving their recommended amounts in their age group. But these studies are only kind of observational. You can always have some other factor that could be causing the relationship. So we were thinking, okay, well, maybe people who are short sleepers have a worse diet. And that's why they have this kind of association that we found. So we did this like big study. It's called a meta-analysis. So have you heard of that before?
No.
Okay. So a meta-analysis is like you get all these different studies that are done and they're all really, really small. So they may not mean very much. And you put them all together and you get all the data. You do the statistics thing.
Do you get all the raw data?
You can get it from the papers.
Okay.
Provided it's in the way you need it, you can get it from the papers. And then you run this other analysis and it gives you kind of a more definitive answer. Based on that, and that was published in 2016, based on that, it said that people who weren't sleeping enough, so those who were, they took them into a lab, they made them sleep like about 4 hours, and then they let them stay in the lab again, and they slept about a normal 8 hours. They ate an extra 385 calories.
When they were sleep deprived.
That's
When they
like
were
not
sleep
even a
deprived.
McDonald's hamburger. It's nothing.
No, that's more than a McDonald's cheeseburger. McDonald's burgers are surprisingly low in calories. It's
With
the
the
chips.
fries,
Yeah.
Continue.
Sorry.
Fries, little fries.
McDonald's sponsor us.
So
But no
basically,
fries.
like over time, that
Yeah.
could cause you to gain weight, and it could change the quality of your diet and everything. So our logic was, okay, well, but actually, these people are stuck in a lab. They don't have the free choice of food in normal environments. So we should be reversing the question. We should be asking, what if people were not sleeping enough, and we help them extend their sleep? Then what would happen to their energy intake and their diet and their overall physical activity and energy expenditure? And if they were in free living conditions, we would
i.e.
be more...
not slaves.
There you go.
No lab rats.
We would be more likely to understand their real habits, how they function in their normal environment.
So you took them out of a lab and just left them at home.
These weren't the same people. These were
But
just people.
in theory, the people that you
Exactly.
tested.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So we found people who were not achieving enough sleep, so they slept less than 7 hours, and we checked that. We gave them monitors that kind of look like this Fitbit. Fitbit sponsor them.
Yeah, I
I'd love a
Fitbit.
Fitbit.
Yeah.
I've never had one.
I highly recommend Fitbit.
Fitbit's great.
You have excellent customer service when your
They-
bands break all the
They
time.
do, yeah.
Yes, you replace mine with this.
I don't know if
beautiful
that's
rose gold
really
one.
promotional.
You have excellent customer service.
Full stop.
You can tweet at them and they send you new ones.
Continue.
And using that, we can see, okay, yes, actually they are a short sleeper. They're not getting enough sleep.
Can we go into the name of the study? Because I think this is one of the most
Yes.
well-named studies ever.
Shout out to Dr. Wendy Hall. So the name of the study is called the Slumber Study.
But it's an acronym.
Yeah.
It is. It's the sleep lengthening and metabolic health, body composition, energy balance, and cardiovascular risk study.
Ooh,
So Wendy put that together, my supervisor, best human in the
So
world.
good.
Yeah.
she's so good at
So
acronyms.
good.
So good.
That is really good.
I
Yeah.
know.
I'm never gonna have anything like that.
Do you know?
No, I'm not either. We don't want to go into the story of when I tried to come up with an acronym for my study. We can't actually go into it
No,
for the
you can't.
purposes of the mystery that shrouds my PhD. But
The acronym for my study has been the proudest achievement of my PhD so far, and potentially my life. It's the change study, and it's chewing, adult neurogenesis, and energy restriction.
That is amazing.
I know. I'm not as modest as Haya.
no, you're not. No.
Anyway, sorry. Slumber study.
So basically, yeah, we that's why we decided we should be extending people's sleep. So the people we got were about, in the age range that I'd mentioned, so 18 to 64 years. And we measure their sleep in the beginning, their physical activity, how much energy they expend, and then we measure their diet. And we do that using food diaries. So they have to write down absolutely everything that they eat in as much detail as they can.
Oh, the
so that we can
shame in
analyze
my
it.
kind of food diary.
Right?
Oh, the shame.
But it's so good you bring that up, actually, because that's the problem with nutrition studies.
Yeah.
Is we will always be relying on people reporting everything as accurately as possible, and they'll always change the way that they eat, knowing that they have to write everything down, and they'll change their habits.
It's really annoying actually, because I collect food diaries from my participants, and I would say most of them, as they give me their food diary, they're like, oh, I just didn't eat as much this week because I couldn't be bothered to write it down.
Exactly.
Like, so many of them. And
Yeah.
I can only say to them, please don't do that. Please try to stay as normal as possible. But
Mine would be like, packet of minstrels, 3 o'clock. Oh, another packet of minstrels, 3 o'clock. Oh, like, that would be me.
I filled out many a food diary during my career as a professional study participant, and sometimes I'll be like, the diary will be downstairs, and like I have no way of knowing how much it is, and this is terrible because I'm a nutritionist and I have people filling out food diaries for me, but I sometimes won't eat something because I'm like, like exactly what you're saying.
yeah.
But as much as possible, I try to be accurate because I know how important it is.
And it's just far too expensive to do anything else.
Yeah, definitely. That's the major challenge, I think, with nutrition, and the biggest limitation, I think, of the slumber study. So, so we collect all this data at baseline, and then we had 43 people complete the study. So we had 21, what we call our controls. So they're the people we don't tell them anything about sleep. We just want them to continue everything as normal. And then we had 22 who were the intervention group. And the intervention group were taught how to sleep better using what's called sleep hygiene guidelines.
You did the intervention on me.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, they did a practice. So Alice worked on the study as well.
I did.
And they did a practice intervention on me. And I'll tell you what, I can never go without a blue light filter on my screens anymore.
Nice.
Yeah. So Alice and Haya said, so we realized they asked me loads of questions about my habits of sleep and what I think might be affecting me and what I think about and stuff. And we realized one of my biggest problems was screens at night. So I'd always be looking at a screen before I go to bed. So then Haya recommended flux, which emit the blue light waves right from the screen, because we think that's interrupting everyone's rhythms and blah blah blah. And it's cool that it's all built into all the tech now, which is cool.
It is. It's in everything.
Cool.
Yeah. So the first time I used it took getting used to, but now I literally cannot look at a screen at night time without the blue light filter on, because it hurts my eyes.
Do you know what's the worst thing? When you have it on and then for a second you take it off and you feel the blue light. It's really invasive. It's really bad.
So is it when you put like the nighttime thing on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's supposed to be better for your sleeping. That's why, do you remember that time when you were like, we should get the energy efficient bulbs? And I was like, no, they're far too bright.
Yes, but our energy bill was very high.
But I was like, I was
just
in my head, I was like, no, my sleep hygiene, I can't.
So all the reasons for your high bills are Alice right now.
Oh, 100%.
With her dehumidifier.
Oh, 100%.
And the bulbs.
Well, it's actually not my dehumidifier. It's actually
lights
the downstairs.
on.
I don't.
You do. I've come downstairs and
seen
seen it.
the odd time if I'm like in the shower, so I don't have to go downstairs in the dark because our downstairs light doesn't work.
We have another light though.
We don't.
We do. You have the separate light. You have to go down the stairs first to turn it off.
Yeah, and the stairs are dangerous.
I've
There's like 2 turns.
Yeah, I've fallen down them.
And it's pitch black on the inside of our house. You can't see your hand in front of your face. That's how dark it is. I'm not exaggerating.
That's good sleep hygiene.
No.
Is it actually good sleep hygiene to have blackout curtains though? Because so in one of my uni houses, I had blackout curtains, and I would never ever be able to wake up at a normal time because I had no idea it was daylight.
Because you need that sunrise to That's why they have those sunrise lamps.
Yeah, and even in my house now, I had blackout curtains, and I got rid of them, and I've put in quite thin curtains now so that I can actually wake up to light.
I mean, yeah, it's important to wake up to light. So light's what's called the most important kind of time giver. So your body has a clock in its brain, and it tells the rest of your body, okay, this is what time it is. And the way this part of your brain knows the time of day is through light. So if you communicate a lot of light to it at night, it doesn't properly understand that, okay, now it's nighttime. I should be secreting melatonin, which I'm sure you've heard about. Yeah. So that's the problem with it. And the same time in the morning, when you expose your face to sunlight, as much light as you can.
I don't ever expose my face to sunlight. It's bad for the skin.
Okay. What were we saying?
It's light, sleep.
Waking up naturally.
Circadian rhythm.
Sunlight.
Yeah, so basically light's what supports your circadian rhythm, or the time your body thinks it is. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we used all these different guidelines called sleep hygiene guidelines, and they're available all over the internet, like from the National Sleep Foundation, Harvard guidelines, the NHS. So they're all there, but they're just not being used.
Can I just say I used to love saying I'm a sleep hygienist
all the time.
Yeah, it was my favourite.
Maybe that'll be a new job description at some point.
I should put that on my CV.
Yeah.
Sleep hygienist is pretty cool.
It sounds cool, doesn't it?
But it also sounds a little bit hippie and
I'm a crystal speaker or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Crystal whisperer.
Yeah. Not quite crystal whisper level, maybe more like cupping therapy level.
Or like, what's it called? The needles?
Acupuncture.
Acupuncture is actually a thing.
I stand by acupuncture.
Seriously, have you all tried it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't, but my dad has.
Although one of the most awful acupuncture experiences I have had is, so whenever I've had it on injuries, it's been amazing. So because I've got really weak ankles, so on my ankles it's been great. But I did have one time, so in Korea you sometimes get huge hospitals that are alternative medicine hospitals.
Hippie hospitals, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Lots of Chinese herbal stuff.
Yeah.
And we went to the acupuncturist there, and I had really bad sinuses at that point, and I was really clogged up all the time, and it was just awful, and I was quite ill. So he put acupuncture needles in sort of under my nostrils, into the corner under my nose, under my nostrils.
Oh, no thank
you. Did it hurt?
It pricks a little bit when they put it in, but what killed me was then he'd go take a deep breath. So I took a deep breath, and he'd sort of twist the needle and like push it further into the sides of my nose, and you can feel the pressure then going into your face of this, and it felt so horrible and painful. But my sinuses did clear up.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't tell my sister to do that. She's got awful hay fever.
Yeah. But then we'd do that, and then he'd get me to do this like breathing therapy thing with an oxygen mask thing that would let out steam. But I mean, it did help.
I had it on my hand, and it really helped. And he put needles from my index finger all the way up my arm to my like forearm.
Yeah.
And if I tapped my finger, it would like pulse the needle at my forearm because it's all connected.
Yeah.
And he like did it in my back. And if they like stick it in muscles and the muscle twitches, it's good. But like you can really feel the like twitching. It's not always nice. But it worked.
Did you have it in an injury?
Yeah.
So when I got it in my injury, on my ankle, when they put it in, or actually I had it on a sore neck as well, when they put it in the place so it's a problem, it really fucking hurts. And they only prick it in, it's only a very slight tap on the needle, and it really hurts, as if they've properly pushed the needle in. And then when they go in other places, you barely feel it.
My friend had one in his butt though, and it went really deep apparently, because like it's such a thick muscle. Ooh. Yeah, but you know,
Them glutes.
carrying on with sleep.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So, sleep hygiene, I guess. Yeah, so there are specific practices that you do to make sure you have better nighttime sleep and like you function better during the day.
Yeah.
So, for example, always waking up every day at the same time, exposing your face to sunlight as early as possible, limiting your caffeine to earlier in the day. The blue light filters basically was a really, really big thing. Being careful, like there are stimulants, for example, like alcohol, smoking, and all of that, not having those too late.
Strenuous exercise.
Really, yeah, if you have like really, really strenuous exercise really late at night, some studies say that can have an impact.
But the opposite for like non-strenuous exercise.
Yeah, so if you had like a really relaxing kind of routine, helping you unwind. Even, for example, some people can't sleep very late at night because they are up worrying a lot, so that, you know, everything their to-do list all start coming up when they're trying to just relax. So we said, for example, if you schedule time to worry during the day, if you found time to sit down and write a worry list, when you go to bed, you'll have, you know, you already wrote it down, you're not going to forget, and you know you have your worry time like tomorrow. Making sure that your bedroom environment, like you're really connected with it, that it's very clean and clear, and that you don't bring in your work and your technology into it, and it's not very cluttered, so you're constantly reminded of everything that you need to do.
So just to take it back to the worry list before we go too far, I have kind of a cute little anecdote that I think you'll enjoy. So recently my mum told me that she downloaded an app, like it was like a worry list app, and I was like, Mum, I'm so proud. And then she was like, you're frequently on it.
Oh my god.
Soz. And I was like, how regularly do you tick that one off? Like, I don't even live with her anymore.
I could see that though. I understand why.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Why?
You're just...
A bit unstable.
Yeah.
Oh God, you've only lived with me for 4 months and you can already tell that I'm unstable.
Yeah, but I lived with you while you lived with your sister. It was.
Oh yeah.
It was.
That was funny.
Eye-opening.
It sounds worse than it was, I think. Was it bad?
It was just Alice telling Kate off.
Anyway.
Slumber.
So, basically, yeah, we sat down with every person, we looked through, okay, you know, here's how much you currently sleep, this is how much you need to sleep more to be achieving, like, the recommended amount. And we had them fill out diaries every day, like, trying to monitor how much they slept, and so that they can kind of start changing their habits. Then, after 3 weeks, so in their 4th week of their intervention, we repeated all the measurements that we took at the start. So, like, for example, their energy expenditure, their diet, their sleep again, so that we could compare everything at their endpoint in comparison to their baseline at the start.
For your obviously you had this control group and the group that was actually going through this. Is that, and ignorant of science, is that a large enough group? Obviously it is, to like make some kind of...
That's such a great question. And this is exactly why this was called a feasibility study and also a pilot study.
Okay.
So feasibility study because, first of all, this hasn't been attempted much. Like sleep extension, is everyone thinks like that's a crazy idea. How do you just extend people's sleep in normal life?
Yeah.
So we needed to first know, is it even possible? Is it feasible? And according to the literature, we found this is a good enough number that we could see, according to the sleep variables only, whether this was a successful intervention or not. But the reason also this was a pilot study is because all of the measures that we took for the diet, the energy expenditure, we took blood samples as well to look at their appetite, all these different changes. is we weren't necessarily powered. It's called statistical power. Like that wasn't enough people to really see that difference.
Yeah.
And that's why this was in that respect a pilot study as well.
Okay. Did you have to like, you know how everyone talks about like REM sleep and like did that factor into what you were doing as well, or was it just purely like you're asleep, it doesn't matter if you're fitful, it doesn't matter if you're like dead?
So what you're talking about, so REM and non-REM cycles and everything, the way to measure that is using something called polysomnography. And that's when you're measuring like how much their eyes are moving, you're measuring their heart rate, their breath, and this is usually done in a lab.
Okay.
And we were only using, like I said, they're called wrist actigraphs, so kind of like Fitbits. So there's a little monitor in them that tells us if they're moving or sleeping.
Yeah.
And there's algorithms that can pick up and translate that as if they're asleep or not. And from that, we can't tell what phase of their sleep cycle they're in. But we do have measures of sleep quality, which I can tell you about.
So, you know, on the Fitbit sleep thing, when it's record your sleep, or whatever sleep tracking thing you use, so then it says it puts you into phases of light sleep and deep sleep, and then in the descriptions it will say, oh, this corresponds to your REM cycles and blah blah blah. Yeah. Is that not true then?
You know, I actually don't even use the sleep on my Fitbit.
Oh.
I don't even use it. But it's just an estimate, because this is not made to measure it. Yeah. Measure it in
so there's no way you can tell from how much you're moving and your heart. Oh, okay, because it does measure your heart rate.
Yeah, and but movement as well, though. I know not precisely, but isn't REM sleep associated with less movement than the other?
Yeah. So your muscles are atonic. Yeah. Like it's like a waking brain in a completely
what's atonic?
Sleeping.
So you don't move, basically. Yeah.
That's how I sleep.
Oh,
I do not move. I can sleep on my back, hands folded like a mummy.
And you'll wake up like that?
Yeah, I can wake up like that.
Oh no!
Oh my god, my best friend is like that as well. Lucy, she will wake up in the position she sleeps like she's dead. It's really weird.
It is great.
I love it. I wake frequently.
Me too. I'm a really bad sleeper. Yeah. I'm really restless as well.
I always need to pee.
Oh, you're so old.
But that was the intervention, basically. And what we found was, firstly, it is possible to extend people's sleep. So they increased their time they were in bed, the time they were actually asleep. And then also we saw that their sleep quality, like how much they were moving in respect to the time they were in bed totally, dropped a bit. Very little bit, but it was significant. It could be because it was like such a drastic change in their routine.
What is a significant significant drop? Like what kind of percentage is that? Is it like, oh, it dropped by 1%, this is really significant, or is it like 30?
So it was about 5%.
Okay.
Yeah. But the reason could be because we just told them, okay, here's your routine, change it by this much, without consideration for kind of doing it gradually. And maybe if future studies did it kind of in a more gradual way, you could preserve some quality just as they adjust to the very new routine.
Did you get positive feedback from the people participating? Or was it just like, oh yeah, I feel a little bit less tired? Like what was...
No, I think the feedback was positive, especially about the sleep hygiene tips. I think the most positive feedback was about the blue light filters.
That really does make a difference.
I've noticed that I have to actively make sure I'm not looking at a screen right before I go to bed, or else it takes me a long time.
I noticed a huge difference when I started using blue light filters. I'd wake up with my eyes feeling a lot more rested.
Especially if you work and stare at a screen all day anyways.
And then when the screen starts going a little bit orange, you realize, okay, now it's time to go home.
But you know, flux is so intense.
It's intense.
When it gets late, it gets really orange.
And you feel extra guilty for looking at your screen.
When we were in our study date on Friday, when we were staying late to do our work, at one point it got to like...
It was about 10.
Yeah, but I think it was like, maybe it was like 9:30, and I got up to like go to the bathroom or something, and I came back like literally like, I don't know, like however long it takes to walk down the corridor to the bathroom and back, like maybe like 4 minutes or something, and came back and I was like, oh my god, my screen was like
It's so orange.
Orange
Like it had been tangoed. Like it was so orange.
I think it's also it's so orange. You can't really see what you're
No,
doing
like-
very well.
And Curry was working on her laptop, so I was looking at her screen and I was like, oh yeah, that's very readable. And then I look at mine and I just went, oh god.
Wait, do your screens flip to orange as it gets darker later?
Yeah, so it follows the sunrise and the sunset.
Oh.
You tell it what time you wake up, and from there it kind of counts back time, and it starts to dim, and then it gets more and more and more intense later into the night.
So it was like bad fake tan orange. Like it was just so orange.
Yeah, it was really orange.
It was, yeah.
Flux is a bit intense.
So then we swiftly went home.
That was home time.
Yeah.
But you know, there has been another like sleep extension study where what they did is they gave people glasses in the intervention group that were orange.
These are like those hipster ones that AL keeps wearing on Love Island. The round
I've
orange
never
lens
seen
ones.
him wear glasses on Love Island. Where
There's his round orange lens sunglasses.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I have seen them.
Yes, exactly like that.
you gotta be topical.
Yeah, exactly.
Haya's only on the 2 seasons ago.
Oh my god, it's so good.
She's on like Karen Nathan.
I think second season is
Best.
the
Oh,
best
I
one.
loved that season.
Yeah.
That was my
Oh,
fave.
it's my fave, and it's so sad about Sophie.
I know.
Where were we?
You did extend people's sleep.
And the other main finding from our pilot kind of
The lion diet. Is that what the
the
newspapers
lion
called
diet,
it?
yeah, the lion diet and the sleep diet was we found that people decreased their sugar intake or their reported sugar intake.
Mhm.
So it was about 2 teaspoons per day. That's how much it was in total.
Is 1 teaspoon
5-ish grams.
5 grams,
Yeah. And the reason this is like really important is because the UK guidelines say you should have no more than 30 grams per day. So to
Right.
bring it down by a third is like
There's a lot.
considered pretty
Right.
big. And that's why we're saying, okay, we know that we can extend sleep. Maybe it's a potential way we could improve diet, but we need studies that are actually have enough people, as you were asking earlier, to pick up on are these changes in diet really significant? Because ours was just kind of like a pilot investigation.
Do you feel like you finished with that? Obviously now you've moved on to real life and a job, but do you feel like you're actually finished with that study, or when you finished your PhD where you were like, oh, I wish I could have taken this a little bit further?
I am currently taking it further because I'm still working with my supervisor to try and repeat it, but in a more overweight population and in a much bigger study and kind of a little bit longer intervention, so like 3 months. And we want to recruit enough people so we could see, okay, does it really change diet, or does it change like their metabolism in any way, or their hormones? So definitely I feel like it's a really exciting field. We always talk about diet, we always talk about physical activity, but sleep I think is so overlooked and really, really important, and I think there's a lot of work to be done. I'm happy to like pass the torch for someone to kind of do the work, but I feel very much invested that
What if it goes to
needs
someone's
carry
shit?
on. Wendy will not pick someone's shit.
No.
Sometimes you just can't predict these things.
So yeah. So that's oh yeah, but the interesting thing that I remember reading, or no, the thing. Oh yeah, it focused on how in modern society it's like seen as like nearly a competitive thing of how little you sleep. It's like in offices and things, people are like, yo, I only got 4 hours sleep last night. Like,
That's
how many
really-
did you
that's
get?
so
Like,
true.
and this type of thing. It's like, and the fact that sleep in modern society is a luxury, and it's like, so there's all these other more important things we need to do. So sleep is the thing that gets sacrificed, and actually it's so important for your health.
They used to say that. Like, when I was in high school, I did the IB, so the International Baccalaureate, and they used to say that you could only pick 2 of 3 things, and it was either do well in high school, have a social life, or sleep. And sleep was always the one that went.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
Like I think because I used to think this a lot as well when I was younger. Not so much now that I'm getting to a point where I realise I can't survive on no sleep. I always sort of felt like sleep was a waste of time. And I think a lot of people feel that. Like, I feel like I could be, in the 8 hours that I should be sleeping, I could be doing so much more. And especially because I'm someone that works really well at night. So my focus always starts kicking in around 8 p.m. Or if I'm up late working, then about midnight, I'll get really in the zone and start working. Yeah. So then I always felt like sleep was a waste of time. Yeah. But obviously, as I'm sort of getting older and coming out of the teenage years, I realise I actually need to sleep.
And actually, what your study found about having little sleep and sugar intake. So what it was, you found that extending your sleep decreased your reported sugar intake by 10 grams. So at the weekend, when I hadn't very much sleep and was like sitting in front of a computer all day, and I was eating kind of strangely, I realise now. At one point, I was sitting there and I was thinking about what I'd eaten because I was like, I haven't really had any meals. I've just been constantly snacking all day. And then I thought about what I was snacking on and what I was in the mood for. And all of it was sugar. Like, everything I was eating was sugar. Some of it was fruit, which is obviously, you know, like it's fruit. It has some benefits, but it's still sugar. Yeah. And then Kiri got me obsessed over the weekend with chocolate-covered raisins, which I will never buy ever again because in a 45-gram serving, there is 30 grams of sugar.
That's your day's
30. Yeah. 2/3 of what you're eating is pure sugar. Yeah. So I'm never buying a packet of them again. What I've said is, if someone else gives them to me, I will eat them. But I'm not buying them. I guess, so Curry, keep me supplied.
I guess because when you are sleep deprived, you're even subconsciously looking for things that are going to give you an energy boost.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll turn like to we'll turn to sugary things.
Yeah. You're also kind of more inclined to be more attracted to sugary foods. Mm-hmm. So there are some studies that take people, deprive them of sleep, and then they put them under MRI scans and they make them look at pictures of foods that's normal, like healthy, normal food, and then they show them really sugary or high-fat foods, and their brain starts like firing for them when they're sleep deprived. But no change really in response to like avocados and lettuce.
I love avocado.
They're like, none of those people are basic bitches.
No.
Them avocados.
Avocado toast.
Brain, yeah.
Yeah, they're not millennials.
No,
exactly.
Obviously not.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. So does, this guideline of you should be getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep? Mm-hmm. Is that 7 to 9 hours of sleep straight? Or does it count if, say, I had a 6-hour sleep and then later on I had a 1-hour nap and then later on again I had another little 1-hour nap? Does that count?
No, it should be like solid.
Yeah.
God, and it's part of sleep hygiene to not nap too much during the day.
And also the optimum nap is 30 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah.
But sometimes all you need is to close your eyes for 5 minutes and you feel so much better.
I've had days in the MRU where I just went for a quick 20-minute lie down.
I was on that day. Remember the day we stayed late and I was like, I'm so tired. No, remember I didn't in the end. But Carrie was like, go to the MRU and lie down. And I was like, I'm really considering it because we've got a few like nice little bed things.
Yeah.
In there
No, when I'm really slumping at work, especially in this office. So in the office that we record our podcast at, our toilets.
Bless you.
Bless you. Our toilets are these really nice single cubicles.
And they're quite spacious.
Yeah,
so when
really
Carrie
spacious.
says she...
So if I have a slump at work, I will genuinely go to the toilets here and lean against the door and have a 5-minute nap. And I feel so much better afterwards.
I find naps really throw me.
I love naps.
They really throw me.
Especially if they're too long.
Even half an hour, 45 minutes, I wake up and I'm like so disoriented, so groggy. It takes me 8. I like have to have a shower to
get you back.
Yeah. I love napping.
Oh, this is another interesting thing that one of our housemates told me. She was like, heard somewhere that apparently if you drink a coffee, and I don't believe this, and this is definitely a Daily Mail
Which
job.
housemate is this?
Tanasa. This is definitely a Daily Mail job. So you drink a coffee, then you go for your nap, and it takes the duration of your nap for the coffee to actually kick in. So you nap, and then when you wake up, you're like doubly rested because you have the like energy from the coffee and you've just had your nap. I do not believe this, and this is not scientifically evidence-based.
I've definitely read that before.
I think it's anecdotal, unless my dad does that all the time.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't. I haven't read anything about that. No. I don't know.
Neither have I.
I wouldn't believe Tanessa anyways.
I'm bleeding.
I have a question. But what if? So are we? What like? But let me start again. So does it really depend on the person though? Because generally, I believe that I don't need 7 hours of sleep to function perfectly fine. I feel like for me, my perfect amount of sleep is about 6 to 6.5 hours.
I think it's really, it's like with anything with population guidelines, right? I mean, this is what we're doing now in Predict, is you have to create these guidelines that target the full population. Like, how are governmental guidelines going to talk to you, Curie, and you, Alice, individually? But if you feel like that's specifically enough time for you, and you feel well rested, and you're waking up naturally, and you're not crashing at the weekend, like there's no difference in your weekday sleep and your weekend sleep, then maybe that is enough for you, and that's fine. But you can't go into that level of detail with prescription when you're talking to, in general terms, for the general average person. But of course, none of us are the average person. But that's the way I think nutrition science is trying to move. Is moving more toward the individual rather than the population.
That's what a lot of different areas of health are doing. Like, I think, isn't it? Translational.
Precision nutrition.
Precision medicine.
I know that I'm sleep deprived now, because when I'm not sleep deprived, I always wake up just before my alarm. Like, literally. Sometimes it'll be like a minute before my alarm. It's crazy. It's actually insane. But I think it is an actual thing that, like, when I'm well rested, if I know I need to be awake at a certain time, my body kind of coordinates with that. And it's like, okay, we'll wake up at this time. But at the moment, it's like, I wake up at my alarm.
When do you
I'll start waking up, like, I'll wake up every hour once it gets bright, because there's a lot of natural light in my room. But I'll go back asleep. And then when my alarm actually goes off, I'm normally like deep asleep. And then I'm like like waking from the dead. Oh my God. One year when I was in on holidays with a group of friends from college, we were in Thailand, and it was our last day. We were in Bangkok, and we'd gone out the night before, and like had like this, like, we went to sleep like when it was bright, and like we were sitting in the street with all these Thai people, and this woman was giving us random bottles of alcohol out of this little fridge that she was sitting on, and we were all sitting on these little stools, and it was just bizarre. I didn't really know what was going on, but it was really fun. So the next day, it was our last day, and we were all trying to stay awake so that we'd, like, before we got the plane. So we decided to go get massages. So we went and got massages, but I wasn't really feeling a massage, so I decided to get my nails done. But they put me in this really nice little comfortable chair, and it was like a little rocking chair, so I like sat back, and they had my hand on a cushion, and like the lady was just like really calm and like doing my nails. So I drift off to sleep, and then my friend comes over, and he had just had his massage, and he came like really close to my ear. I went like and I woke up, and I swear to God, it was the most terrified I've ever been in my life. Like, I just remember waking up and being like, like, honestly, I was like, oh my God, didn't know where I was, didn't know what was happening. Like, he loves to tell this story as well. All my friends had crowded around because they had all finished getting their massages and nails done before I did. And I think the lady who was doing my nails, once she finished, she literally just left me there asleep, because she was like, oh, her friends are all they're still like getting their things done, so I was just sleeping in the chair, and they were all like wetting themselves laughing. He loves to tell that story.
Imagine if he did that while you were getting your nails done, and then you just like smack this woman in the face.
Like, nail varnish in the eye.
The number of times I fell asleep on planes and ended up with my head on a stranger's shoulder.
Oh my God.
The number of times.
I'm so glad that's actually never happened to me.
Seriously?
No.
I was so tired, I woke up with my head on someone's shoulder.
Yeah.
And I woke up, I'm like, I'm so sorry. And then he's like, come here. Like, he brought a blanket, rolled it up, put it on his shoulder. He's like, you know, like, come back to my shoulder, kind of. And I was like, yeah, okay.
That's either really smooth or like really caring.
No, he was just like a dad.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's either really smooth,
and
or like he's a dad.
Oh, that's so nice.
I know, it was great sleep.
Anyway, should we take it back to the paper and then wrap up? What do you think of the fact that these headlines took your results and made up things like the lion diets or the sleep diet?
I think, like, of course, I mean, I think it's really funny, and of course they take things way out of context, but we know it's quite funny because we understand how to really interpret science, but it could be quite dangerous. Like, for example, there's a lot of emphasis on, like, when I was talking to journalists on the phone, it was very much like, well, does that mean they lose weight? Does that mean they lose weight? Can they? But that's not always the message we're trying to give across, and of course there's a lot of over-exaggeration, and I think the best way to interpret this research really is that like Alice was saying, if we are overlooking sleep all the time, if it's this thing viewed as time being wasted, I think we need to just change the conversation and realize that it's time invested because you're functioning more optimally in the time you are awake. You're probably making healthier food choices. Your body's rhythms are functioning more like they should be, and probably you have more energy to exercise. So you're able to practice everything else related to your health in a much more informed way because you're very well rested and you're not as likely to crave sugar, you're not as tired that you can't exercise. So that's the way really that I think it should be interpreted.
Did you feel frustrated that you trying to change the conversation around sleep ended up sort of like spiraling this whole society's obsession with dieting and losing weight? Did you feel like that? I
think that regardless, society is very obsessed with that. Why I'm glad that in some ways it did make headlines because I think it's such an important topic that needs to be spoken about. And I think in nutrition we have this issue where it's diet obsessed and you always get the wrong headline making it to the news. But as long as it's kind of getting the conversation started on sleep, I think that's a good place to start. Just getting people interested in why is sleep so important? Why is it something we actually should be respecting? And not, we shouldn't be competing about it at work. Who slept less, and basically just get them using these sleep hygiene guidelines that are there and no one utilizes.
I think it definitely is more of a topic now. Like people,
absolutely,
definitely are more aware of sleep and that. Like, definitely talk about it more.
Yeah,
whether it's good or bad.
Other than the blue light, what would be the second sleep hygiene tip?
Don't take any work into your bedroom environment.
Oh God!
So that's don't study in your bedroom.
Don't study in your bedroom. Don't take your laptop into your bed. Just keep all that outside of that, if possible. Of course, I mean we had some people where that wasn't because it was a shared space and their only quiet place to do that was their bedroom. But even kind of trying to not do it in their bed, like maybe if they had a chair or a desk or something. So trying to keep those very separate, I think, is really important as well.
So if someone wanted to get their sleep hygiene guideline, is it literally just a matter of Googling UK sleep hygiene guidelines or
it'll pop up on the NHS website, the National Health, the National Sleep Foundation, Harvard have some guidelines. It's literally they're out there. It's just no one really uses them.
We've hit some really important topics today.
We have
sleep and your vagina bits.
Yeah. What more could you ask for?
Exactly.
I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It's been a bit different to our normal ones.
It has, yeah.
Because we have an actual
scientist,
legit researcher.
The person we're legit researchers.
Yeah,
what are you talking
she
about?
actually completed some
You're
research.
fledglings. She's full grown.
Yeah,
that's true.
With your help, Alice.
Yeah, and my help.
Presence in the MRU.
Exactly. Thank you.
Your encouragement and banter.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate the word banter. I wish I hadn't said that. That's okay.
Anyway, thank you so much for both coming.
Thank you for having me.
Did you have fun?
Lots of fun.
I did, yeah.
Did you learn some stuff?
I did. About Shleep.
Do you think as a result you will sleep more?
No, because I really like the sleep hygiene thing, because I have said to Alice many times, I go to bed too late, and I can't look, I have to actively make sure I don't look at my screen. So, I mean, I have a Kindle, which is still a screen, but it's not
At least
same,
it's not backlit.
It's not the same kind of backlighting, and I actually have to find if I read and do that stuff before bed.
That's the reason why I got the Kindle, because I was I had too many books to carry around and I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yes.
They're heavy.
And then I was using the Kindle app on my iPad, but I was like, oh, so then I got the Kindle because the paper, it looks like paper.
And mine you can adjust the lighting if it is dark, but it does look like paper.
Yeah.
It's life changing.
Yeah, I really like the Kindle.
Speaking of Kindle and books, I read a really good book recently.
What's it called?
All I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton.
Sounds lame.
No, it was really good. It's about her life. It's a biography kind of thing.
Oh.
It's the one you've probably seen the cover of it. It's all I know about, and there's all these words friends, family, and they're all scribbled out, and then at the end it's just love.
Oh.
But it's just about her life, and it's really quite makes you feel okay about yourself.
Yeah.
One
Love
good
a little
one
bit of murder.
is The Power.
I read that when I was away.
I've been big into women's writing. So they do a women's fiction book prize every year, and last year The Power won. and it was about women getting like this weird electrical shock through their collarbones, and it was like flipping the world on its head, where men couldn't go anywhere without a woman chaperone, and like
they had this power,
because they had this power, and the men
with this
didn't.
extra organ.
Yeah, so it was like,
grew.
and it was like women in like say the Middle East or like very male dominated countries revolting. It's very very
that
interesting.
does sound really good.
It's called The Power.
Oh, speaking of things that are good to read, if you want something else good to read, I recommend going to our blog, layitoutpodcast.wordpress.com.
And you can also check us out on Instagram or Twitter on @layoutpodcast.
Or you can email us on layitoutpodcast@gmail.com. Please do send us some mail. We want more fan mail, please.
It's really exciting. We lose our shit. It literally makes our day.
Yeah, and like just tweet us or send us any messages about any articles that you've seen in the newspapers that you'd like us to cover. Because I guarantee you they're a lot more boring than what they sound like.
Yeah, and we love to illustrate that.
Yeah, and if you're whatever app, podcast, system, platform you're listening to us on, please rate us 5 stars. And that's it. We'll see you soon.
And CoFresh sponsor us. We haven't forgotten about you, even though I know we haven't mentioned you in the entire.
CoFresh, we have this like Twitter relationship going on now. You definitely know we exist, and you've asked me to send you an episode, which you better have listened to.
Oh, you sent them?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So
let us know what you think, CoFresh.
This isn't just
along with some Bombay mix.
Yeah, but this isn't just a shallow, thing where we're trying to get this sponsorship. Jamal, I've posted a Twitter thing of the chili and lemon grills. We're passionate about you, CoFresh. Vote for CoFresh.
CoFresh for president.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Did we forget anything?
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, we're back. Silent Jamal
I've put in a request for
Chakri sticks.
Yeah, thank you.
Which are actually my favourite, and then the second is the chili and lemon grills.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Welcome to Lay It Up. I haven't messed up for a while.
You haven't.
I haven't. If you want something else good to read, go read our Twitter on @LayItOutPodcast.
You can go and check us out on Instagram and Twitter.
I've already said the Twitter.
Yeah, were you not supposed to say the blog? What did you just say?
Oh yeah, I should have gone with the blog.
I can't remember.
I should have gone with the blog. That would have been a much better segue.
Okay, segue again. We can cut that out.
And speaking of things good to read, you should go read our blog on Lay It Out Podcast.
Okay, let's start again.
I can't keep naturally segueing.
Okay. So great books. Oh, that was such a good book.